Hello everyone, welcome to this next video of Field.AI. The agenda for this video is to see the masters that are being used in Field.AI. Specifically, we will go through the resource setup. What are the different masters or the screens that we have to configure before using the Field.AI? Like we already discussed, we will be using the following masters in the Field.AI, like Service Maintenance Setup, Resource Setup, Equipment Master Setup, Task Group, Warehouse Setup, Product Master, and Customer Master. In this video, we will specifically cover Resource Setup. Let me go to the screen and show you how we can navigate to Resource Setup. After login to the application, you will land on this screen. Like I explained earlier, this is a mosaic. In order to go to Resource Setup, click on this Field.AI from menu. On the Setup, you will find the Resource Setup in Service and Maintenance Setup only. On this screen, at the bottom, you will see the resource setup is there. There are 4 different masters that we are going to cover in resource setup that are resource type, resources, work center, and skills. This comes under the service and maintenance screen. First of all, let's go through the resource type. Resource type is a categorization of the resources that we can provide to the technicians. Resources are the technicians, or the engineers, or the ones who are performing the jobs for a field service request, or a work order, or a maintenance work order. In order to create a resource type, there are few details that we have to enter into our system. You can see organization and resource type code. These are pretty standard fields. Click on New Record once. We can create a resource type within an organization or in a common star organization also. Code is auto-generated, as well as we can provide our own code. Then, we can provide our own name to the source type. For example, let's provide engineer. In this way, I can provide a resource type. Let me save it. This resource type will be saved. There are a few other settings available on this resource type. The first one is single assignment only. If I am marking this checkbox as a true, I am enabling this setting. It means I cannot assign multiple tasks at the same time to that resource who will be assigned with this resource type. It means, for example, if I am marking this single assignment true, I cannot assign multiple tasks at the same time. If I am scheduling a task for a technician, for example John, I am assigning a task of cleaning the activity from 4 to 5 p.m. on a specific date. I cannot assign another task in this timeline like 4 to 5. If I have to assign him another task, I have to give him a different timeline like 5 to 6, or maybe before 4. This system will not allow me to assign any other task schedule to the same source if this setting is marked as true. Second one is time slot. Time slot is used to define the shift timing for a particular resource type. If I am marking this as false, it means this resource type is available for 24 hours a day. If I am marking this true, then I have to clearly define the slot timings for this resource. For example, I have to provide the timings here 9 to 18. It means these engineers or resources which will be created with this resource type will be available from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. for work. I cannot schedule any activity beyond this timings to this particular resource. System will ensure that this is used for defining the time slot purpose. If I am marking it false, then the resource will be available for 24 hours. The next one is day slot. With similar concept, if the day slot is false, it means the resource is available 7 days a week. We don't have to. System will not stop me to assign any task to this resource type for any day of the week. But if I am marking this true, then the system will not allow me to schedule any task on these particular days where the days are marked as false. Like in this case, Saturday and Sunday. In this case, if I am selecting the engineer, I cannot schedule any task on the Saturday or the Sunday to this particular resource. This can be adjusted. We can mark any as true, and we can save this record. This is how I can create a source type into a system. Description is not always mandatory. We can provide a description to this source type also. Let me go to the second one, which is a resource. Here, this is a very important master we have to create in our system in order to use Field.AI. In this, we can create resources, different resources meaning technicians or engineers who will be performing the jobs, who will be using the mobile application. In order to create one, let me toggle it once with Alt-T. On the resource screen, you can see a few details are available. Organization and our resource code. These are pretty standard fields. Then the name of the resource, user, contact, resource type, warehouse, location, resource tracking, latitude, longitude, and available. Let me create a new record for you and show you the meanings of these fields. I will create a resource in this organization only, so let's give a name to the resource. Let's say Rahul Kumar. I have to map the user with respect to this resource also. In order to map a resource, this should be unique since a one-to-one relation is already there. This login user has been mapped with some different resource. I cannot do that again. For example, if I am trying to map this with Anu to Rahul Kumar, the system will not allow me to do that. First, I have to pick a resource type that we have created, like engineers. I am going to save it. The system will not allow me because this user is already assigned to a resource. To assign a fresh resource, we have to create a fresh user in the system. These are one-to-one relations. Resources cannot exceed the number of users. Every user is not a resource, but every resource is a user. Once we have created a user, then we can map that to this user also. We can give a different name to the resource here, but we can provide the same name as well. Then the resource type. Like I explained, we have to pick a resource type from the list. Like we have created the engineers. We can pick that also. Then the warehouse. This warehouse is a mobile warehouse, which a technician or a resource will be using while traveling to the customer's site, while carrying some spare parts along with them. For example, let's take this Alfie warehouse. It means this Rahul Kumar will be using the spare parts, all the spare parts from the Alfie warehouse. Alfie warehouse could be a mobile warehouse also. Why is it important? Because in field service scenarios, there are always two types of warehouses. One is the main warehouse where all the inventory is taking place, where we do most of our transactions, where all the inward movements are happening. Then there is a mobile warehouse, the warehouse which technicians use to install the spare parts when they are at the customer site. That mobile warehouse can be their vehicle also. They can carry the vehicle along with them, and they can maintain the inventory within that vehicle also. Also, the one warehouse can be used by multiple resources as well. In this case, I have created this for the Alfie. Now we are using it for the Rahul also. We can do that also. Then there is a base location as well. Base location is for information purposes. For each resource, there could be different base locations. We can provide a base location here. We have to click on this arrow, and we have to provide a few details like Sector 17, City is Chandigarh. I can provide this code also. In this way, I can provide a base location. This is for informational purposes only. Then this is the resource tracking as well. Resource tracking is the function that we use if we want to keep track of the resource when he is using the mobile application, or when he is starting the travel, or when he is finishing the travel. Resource tracking. We have the option to not track the resource location, whether it is working or not. We have that option also. Then we have to select the Don't Track option. Else, if you want to keep track of the technician while he starts travel and ends travel, we can do that as well. If we want to continuously track the location of this resource or the technician, we can select this while using mobile application. In this scenario, actually mobile application will send us the signal after every 10 seconds. It will update the location latitude and longitude for this respective resource. Then it will automatically be populated from the mobile application. Later on, we can track the location on a scheduling and dispatching form at the map section. Then there is available. If sometimes there are cases where there are multiple resources or technicians and we want to mark them as unavailable due to some reasons, maybe they are on a long leave or some other reasons, then we can simply toggle this, and now this resource will be marked as unavailable. This resource will not be available on any scheduling areas, or we cannot assign any task to this particular resource because it is marked as unavailable. If it is available, only then we can assign or schedule the task on the forms or on the screens also. Later on, this is active. This is a standard field, whether this record is active or not. Then there are 3 tabs for this particular resource. One is unavailability. Unavailability is where you want to define the unavailability of the resource, like if the resource is on a vacation or something. For example, if he is not available from 15th to 20th of June, then we can do this, and we can save vacation in the description, and we can save this. Now again, we cannot schedule the task to this technician within this time range 15th of June to 20th of June. This is also a very useful feature for availability, to define the availability of the resource. Then there is a resource skill. First, let's go to resource skill. Resource skill. We can define the different skills set with the resources. For example, this is a resource. Let me define the different skills here. I'm selecting electrician. Rahul has expert skill in electrician. Then another skill I can add. Let's say mechanical. I will say he is some beginner in mechanical. Let's say add another skill. Steam engine specialist. Let's say intermediate. Now you can see, when I toggle it, there are different skills I can maintain with this resource. If you remember, these skills were getting auto-fetched at the maintenance group screen on the group member tab. From here, the data is going to that tab on the maintenance group member, where we were seeing the skills against the respective resource. This is how we can define the skills for the resource. Then at the last, there is a tab called Resource Product. Resource Product is very important in the field service. It's not even used in the plant maintenance case. Resource Product is something that we define against the resource as a product from the values coming from the product master. As per the different job profiles, we can define the different resource products. The purpose of this is to charge the man-hours of this resource to the customer based on the work job that resource has performed at that customer's location. For example, as you can see, we have provided multiple skills to this resource. To this Rahul Kumar, we have given 3 skills, like he is an electrician, steam engine specialist, and mechanical. For example, let's say he is going at a job to repair a steam engine. Now what we can do is we can create a resource product here. We can map the steam engine specialist here. Also, on a product level, we can define the price list for that product for that steam engine specialist. That price list can be different from the one the actual technician price list has. It means we have an option to control the man-hours of this particular resource based on the different job profiles that we can assign to this resource. The technician I have assigned. Let me see if engineer is available. Okay, so field engineer is also available. Now you can see this resource Rahul Kumar can perform 2 things. One is technician, one is the field engineer. So it's on my hand what type of job I want to provide him. While I am assigning the task to this resource, if I am giving the field engineer role, it will be charged according to that. And if I am giving the technician's role, it can be assigned. We can provide invoice to the customer based on that price list also. This is the use case on a field service request. We'll show you on the field service request. We'll show you in detail on that screen. This is all about the resource. So let's go to the next master under this resource setup, which is a work center. Work center is nothing but just a virtual area where all the production is happening in a plant maintenance case. This is not used in the case of a field service request, but used in a plant maintenance case only. In the work center, we have to provide a name of the area where all the production is happening. For example, let's say engine assembly section. This is the name of the work center. At this location, all the production is happening. This is also a main master of the manufacturing module. Supposingly, if you are taking the manufacturing modules as well with the Onfinity, so it's very useful at that part also, because we can track the different production orders with this respective work center also, and we can track the costs occurring on production order if we are facing any challenges, any breakdowns that are happening into this work center. That can be tracked, and that can be measured based on this work center settings. We have to provide a warehouse also. Let's provide a main warehouse. The name we have to provide, and the code will be auto-generated. Organization we can pick, then a locator we can define a connected locator here. Then cost center, we can provide it, or this is optional. This is not mandatory, but yes, if we are using the manufacturing module, it will become mandatory. In that case, we have to always select a cost center, because we have to book the cost occurring on this work center while the machine is going under breakdown for some time. Time is a value. Time is the money. To compensate that, we have to book all the losses under this work center. In this way, we can save the record. This is how Work Center can be created into a system. It's very easy also. Work Center is a virtual area where all the production is happening. It defines the location. It is useful for the technicians, or the engineers, or the operational guys also in order to raise a request. They will be knowing at where machine is located and which area. They will be sure they have to go over that location in order to complete this request. Let me go to another one. The final master on this resource setup is skills. Like I explained, we can create n number of skills, and we can map the skills to the resources. For example, let me create a new skill here. The new skill I can create, maybe let me put diesel engine specialist. We call it a diesel mechanic. Also, we can provide a description and a comment also, skipping it for now. I am putting this value of the description, so I am saving this. Now this skill is being saved. It is very easy to create a skill. Now this skill will be available at every other location wherever the skill master is being used. For example, on a resource tab, now this skill will be available. Once we create a skill, we can map the skills to the asset also. This is a tab to map the skill with respect to that particular asset. For example, I can select an asset here and a product, and I can save the record. Now I map this skill with the asset. Whenever in a system or application I can see that to perform any job on this asset, I require these skills. This is a very important part also, the mapping of these assets with respect to the skills, because later on AI can use this data in order to assign the resources to that particular job. It's very important to maintain all this master data. If we are creating a skill, then we should know that to perform any job on this particular asset, which skills we have required. Once we are creating a skill, then we should map the assets to their respective skills as well. In this way, I can map this also. So we have covered all these masters now. Resource setup, resource type, resources, work center, and skills. That will be all in this video. Thank you for attending this session.